This is JordanTower with JT News. Make sure you smash that like button, smash that subscribe button. Well, Joe Budden always seems to attract the drama, okay? Raqi Thunda has been on him for 10 years, I think. I mean, she keeps reappearing. This is someone from his past. They were tight, okay? You know who Raqi Thunda is. Like, her and Joe used to, like, I think she did some radio with Joe because, like, she started on radio and that Joe met her through radio. And, yeah, they've known each other since, like, 2004 or something like that. So she's been in and out of his life. And, you know, he really relied on her at one point to the point where Takiri thought that Joe was sleeping with Raqi Thunda, his friend. And Joe has these things, you know, Joe puts a lot of girls on. I ain't gonna lie. Like, he puts a lot of girls on that he's been with. But he has this pattern with everybody he has a relationship with that they end up, a lot of them, I would say like 60% of the people that are friends with Joe Budden at one point become his enemy. And that's where we're at with Raqi Thunda. She stated this year, she kept her promise that she's back on him, back on his ass. Okay, so a Twitter space erupts last night, and I think this stems from her interviewing one of Melyssa Ford's. I guess Melyssa Ford was going to start a podcast with two people she knew in their expertise. Like, one of her friends was like a psych major or something. She's like, I have a master's in this, and the other one was like a yoga instructor. I mean, like, really, who would be tuning into the podcast for them? It would be really from Melyssa Ford. She wanted to get an even split, and Raqi Thunda had her on her podcast, right? And she talked about Melyssa Ford and how she was just, she had this ego and this and that. Well, Melyssa Ford is the known person in the group. And that's what would be gravitating people to the podcast. But this is the thing. This is why you should never start something with somebody else unless you really believe it's even, right? Because I've tried to, include people in what I'm doing, even friends, right? And they start thinking like it's even Steven when it's not. Like, you guys don't even know what this is. You just didn't even want to do this. So her friend got petty and started copywriting or trademarking the name that they came up with. So Melyssa Ford had to change the name up, all this stuff. So anyways, that's what's going on with that. But then I guess this spills into Joe Budden's Twitter spaces. We'll play a little bit of this, but I don't know how Joe Budden always gets himself into stuff like this, bro. Oh, my God. It never stops. Let me see. Where is it? Right here.
What? Yanking?
Okay, enough is enough now. Raqi, when you was around, you was the bitch with hips, no ass that nobody looked at like that because you didn't have nobody.
No, we're going someplace
Wait, hold
else
up, because you're not going to keep talking like
you're going someplace else.
Marilyn Monroe.
You're saying
nobody ever wanted to fuck you. Nobody ever tried to jerk off to you. Nobody ever invited you to none of this sexy turn-up orgy type. That was not it. Stop lying to these souls in this crew ever. Not one.
People into the conversation. Imani, Ice, Ish, Corey, Parks, all of these people, if you want to group them in, I'm glad nobody wanted me like that because I didn't want them either. We didn't have that relationship. We had a family-style friendship. So that's cool. But if we're going to act like every time I came out the bathroom, you wasn't sitting on the floor beating your fucking dick and I had...
What the hell's going on? Yo, why is Joe always in some freaky stuff? He talks about his dog doing this. Why is Joe Budden always in some freaky, weird conversations, bro?
To walk past your nasty ass. Yeah, let's not fucking play now. Because every time you come in this motherfucker with the lies,
you gotta stop talking like you was ever cute over there.
And you start deflecting.
You wasn't cute.
You start, bitch.
Don't care about that girl.
No, of course you don't. You was a bum, Joe. You was a thorough fucking bum, and I was a friend to your bum ass.
And now it's over, bitch. It's over.
That's fine. So stop coming in rooms where I'm at addressing me. Fuck
you in a Joe Budden's face.
fuck, nigga?
You in a whole Joe Budden space.
She was like, stop harassing me. She's the one who... That was the funniest part. That was the funniest part to me. She's like, yo, stop harassing me. And she came to his space and started trouble.
Say Joe Budden's face, you dick.
Joe Budden's losing his mind.
What are you talking about?
Fucking room.
You in a Joe Budden fan space.
Why you mad?
I don't like it in here.
Why you mad? Tell the people why you really mad.
I don't
Tell
like
the
it in
people
here.
why you really mad.
I'm with Fred.
Yo, you know who like Joe Budden reminds me of? Fousey of YouTube. Like, they're the same in their spaces. Like, because, like, I don't look at Joe Budden as just YouTuber. Like, he's always found a way in entertainment. Like, he does Pump It Up, then he did indie, then he did Love and Hip Hop and radio, and then he did pop. You know, like, he's just, I don't know. But anyways, this goes on for like 20 minutes of her accusing him of this, of that, of this. It's just, it really isn't about anything specifically, you know? She's just mad. And Joe Budden, she always pops up. When Joe Budden was going through his thing with Sin Santana, she started representing Sin Santana, like managing her career of what, I don't know, but trying to manage her. And then she was trying to deal with Joe Budden, mitigate, like being in between Sin and him, and like child support. Like, it was crazy. Like, Raqi Thunda, I think, is obsessed with Joe Budden, which is fine. Okay, like that's up to her, right? It's pretty obvious. She never goes away, but I don't know. You know, Joe gets himself into a lot of situations. Like, even the situation with Rory and Mal, that did not have to go that way, right? It just, I don't know what exactly made these two beef with each other, but Joe Budden has a way of lying and manipulating with people. And I'm not like calling him a bad person. I'm just saying this is who Joe is. Joe is Joe, okay? And these people choose to be like, you have to accept somebody for who they are. If one of my friends is like a constant liar, manipulator, I'm not going to trust anything they say. We could be cool, but I'm not going to like trust you or anything. Like, that's out the window. And Joe Budden gets accused of this all the time by everybody, you know? So, anyways, you know, Rory and Mal, I think they got done the dirtiest because they were there from the beginning with that podcast. And when it came time to re-up the Spotify deal where they would actually get some real money and maybe real opportunity, Joe Budden pulled the plug. They made some money on the first Spotify deal, but the second one was going to be major. Joe Budden pulled the plug and said, nah. And who knows if Joe Budden's doing better or not. I don't know. That's his business. But, you know, they just wanted to see the books. And then Joe Budden was like, no, you guys are employees. See, that's how it could go if you don't have your paperwork right. It's something like that happened to me, you know, like before, you know, and you learn from it, you know, and they did, and they moved on, and they have their own thing now. And that's that. But, yeah, that was funny. I'll get to some more news in a minute. This is Jordan Tower with JT News. I appreciate you all. Peace.